So as Elizabeth is fishing, this is her victory shirt. So she does it in Canada and she does it in Alaska. What can I say? You know. So as we come into Wilderness Place Lodge, my wife and I, we're coming in at this point. We get there, and actually they give us a little wrap or something for lunch and send us immediately out, because my wife and I only have one day to fish, 24 hours. So that's our guide. His name is Jacob, and that's Elizabeth in the river, and she's fishing just up a little bit. Now you have to understand, I'm a bit of a shutterbug. A lot of the pictures that you would, probably about maybe a quarter of the pictures you had seen tonight, I take. So I'm there with my camera tucked in my waders, and I'm standing there fishing, minding my own business, and Elizabeth is going, and I'm going, and I finally get to, and I look up, and there is this eagle probably just skimming the treetops above me. And this is after 3 circles, and he's gaining height. I don't think he liked us being there, but he really didn't do anything about it, and that was good. But it was just neat. Now, my wife hooks into a fish. Now, because there was a moratorium on salmon fishing at that point, the quota had been reached in conservation, and the camp is very, very strict. They are a very good and ethical camp. So when there's no salmon fishing, there's no salmon fishing. So we're trout fishing, actually. And that rod that my wife has in her hands is a light tackle trout rod that you use in a bush kill. Well, Elizabeth's giggling like crazy because she knows what's on the other end. Now, while we're doing this, I'm standing in the creek taking pictures with my fly rod tucked underneath my arm and my shoulders going, I've got one on my rod now. So I yell to Elizabeth, and she leaves the creek to come over to take my fish, and look at my wife's face. She is just panicked. That's Jacob. He hooks up the net and is ready to help my wife out. Now, she regains her composure, but even that short rod, look at how that thing is bending. And this is why.
Oh my goodness.
I think that's the first big fish my wife has ever caught. Now, she fishes with us in bass in Canada and things, but nothing like this. That was nice. Now, notice that it's down in the water. Why is that?
So the fish, when they come straight out of the ocean, they're actually silver. And the longer that they live in the stream, they start turning red. So we released these fish, but people that are looking to keep the fish, they want an all silver fish.
Right, but why is its head below the water?
Because for the conservation, we have to keep the head in the water.
To keep them alive. Otherwise they die, they never make it upstream, and they never complete the life cycle. So the guide is very careful about that, and he very carefully and generally releases the fish. So in the meantime, back at Uncle Bud's fly rod, Elizabeth is pulling in this nice rainbow trout. And I understand that all the trout in Alaska are rainbows, right?
Yes.
All right. So my wife takes this picture of Elizabeth down in the corner, but do you see that knucklehead standing out on the rock there in the upper left hand? That's me. And the guide is right behind me, probably in case I fall in. He wants me to go out on the edge of that log because the other day he saw a rather large rainbow, and he was right. When I got a little further out and started to cast to get it under, there was probably, have you ever been up to Cabela's and see those really big fish in pond? This thing was bigger than that. And I just could not get him to bite. But I didn't fall in. And this guy was watching this the whole time. And it was just, I didn't wish I wanted to hold my hand more, the camera or the fly rod. So we're walking back into camp, and that's my dear niece Elizabeth. And these are all the, when you fly into this camp, you don't, unless you want to, you don't have to take anything. Everything is supplied to you. Those are the fly rods, the spinning rods are off to the left, and the guys pick them out and match them to you. Oh, around here I usually use a 3-4 weight fly rod. Jerry gave me a beautiful split bamboo. What was the year of that thing, brother? What was the year of that fly rod?
I have no idea.
It was really, really old, but he refinished the entire thing and gave it to me. It is like just a cloud to fish with. Well, they handed me one of these fly, and it's like fly fishing with a baseball bat. It's like a 9 weight, it's really, really long, really heavy, and instead of fishing with the tiny little size 22 midge that I usually use, which is less less than a quarter of your little pinky fingernail. These things are enormous, and they use them to fish for trout.
And the king ones are even bigger.
And the king ones are actually, they're two flies tied together to make a really big lure. So there's my wife. Oh, and when we had supper that night, Elizabeth's professor in culinary arts prepared our dinner because he was up there for the next week. That salmon was delicious. And my dear Elizabeth made my favorite dessert, creme brulee. And actually, for the staff, she made a creme brulee tonight so that they enjoyed a special dessert as well. So there's the camp. And there's the main dining area and kitchen and things. And Elizabeth has a little story to tell.
So I get up about 4 a.m. for breakfast, and about 4:30 I was out getting ice for my water cup, and I was standing right at the windows, and I look out the window, and right at the end of this pathway where it ends, there was a brown bear. Yep. As soon as I could get the words out of my mouth that there was a bear in camp, the manager goes running after the bear to get him out of camp. Yeah, we don't like bears in our camp.
So that evening we go back out again. It's 81 degrees. Our guide has shorts on and river boots. Oh, by the way, did you like my self-portrait? I'm the shadow. We were catching trout at this point. We finally hooked into some trout, and our guide was just wonderful. He just did everything for us. I felt kind of awkward, to tell you the truth, and used to doing this all myself. Elizabeth back in the kitchen. It's now next morning at about 4:30, 5 o'clock, and that's the dining hall from the other angle. Oh, you want to say something here?
So we serve breakfast and lunch, but dinner is our main meal. All of our guests come back to the lodge for dinner and serve a 4-course meal. And every night we go out, kind of like I did today, and introduce the food for each for the dinner service.
Okay. So if we get Elizabeth packs us the lunch, and this is the morning at about 5:30. We're out. Actually, we were already taking a boat ride and going upstream. Right now, the river is a little bit low, so you have a 45-minute walk along the creek through the woods to get to the next place we get in the boat and go further upstream to catch some fish. And there's Elizabeth's lunch. You see it? It's that thing in my wife's hand. Beautiful, warm breakfast sandwich. And it was warm because that morning was not 81 degrees. But the sun rose wonderfully. We were just admiring the scenery until we got to this. Yeah, those are fresh bear tracks. What I missed doing is I should have put my foot in one of them because those tracks were bigger than my waiter boot. Why? I mean, we just did not meet this fella, which is probably a good thing. Beaver Dam, my wife and the guide walking ahead and moving on. We finally arrive at the second set of boats. We get in the boat, we go upstream, and now the guide is setting my wife up. My wife gets another king that day and some trout. And I didn't get any trout that day. Well, that was one of the trout that my wife got, and the guide released it. We weren't going to keep anything. And that was me hooking in my very first king. Again, we're using trout flies, and they hit the thing. And if you've never pulled a king in, it's kind of like pulling a BW out of a bush-kill crate. I said to the guy, I said, this just isn't working. What should I do? And so what he said was, all right, just lower your rod tip, which is really antithetical to what we should be doing, at least in my thinking around here. Lower your rod tip and walk backwards. I said, why? He said, what will happen is the salmon will see you. He will turn sideways in the stream, and you'll never get him. But if you walk backwards, he'll lose sight of you. He'll relax a little bit, and then he can go down there and net it. And that's exactly what he did. Now, why is this one different color?
So this one had just come into the river system. It's the silver color.
Okay. And hadn't spent too much time there. That was my first. And then I had the privilege of getting another one as well. Again, that's me with the camera. And this picture is actually from my wife's cell phone. And there I am. I actually get a chance to touch the thing. This is our guide, and this is one of the pictures that makes me cry, because that's the plane that came to take us home. It was the most wonderful 24 hours that I had spent. The camp was so good to us that when Elizabeth asked if we could come and made special arrangements for us to come, because they were actually breaking camp, they said, Elizabeth, your uncle is coming. You have half a day off to go fishing with your family. And that was just a tremendous blessing. So we get in the plane, and we had a different pilot, of course, and he just enjoys flying like anything. And he said, did you see Mount Denali yet? And we said, no. Spins the plane around, and we're going, oh, brother. Spins the plane around, and we have a chance then to actually see Mount Denali. And that was great, because it's only visible like this about 1/3 of the year. It's usually covered in clouds.
Not very many people get to see it. They say like 1 in 3 people get to actually see Denali when they come to Alaska.
So he noticed it was out that day, and that's why he spun the plane around. And so we're flying along the river, and then he says, have you seen any moose yet? And we said, no. Down we went onto the river, and I said, is this safe? How far above the river do you have to go? He says, well, 200 feet's the ceiling, but he said, you know, if the worst comes to worst, I'll just land. Oh, yeah, right. So we actually got a chance to see these moose. He saw the moose and then spun over to the one side, and this is probably about 200-300 feet in the air. I had a chance to zoom in with a camera, and we actually caught a moose and a mama and a baby, and that was neat. So we're coming back into the airport in Anchorage. My sister now took this picture. She's on the shore waiting for us, and we disembarked the plane. That wasn't the end of our trip. We did have a wonderful time. That's my dear wife and I. We had a wonderful time not only there, but we went to Chigash National Forest. And while we were there, a glacier cleaved off, calved off, and gave birth to this little glacier, and it floated up. Now, my wife is of the curious sort, so she wondered what it tasted like. Amazingly enough, it's just very pure water. I don't know if that's the glacier that it cleaved, but this picture really doesn't do it justice, because the guy piloting the boat said the top of that glacier is 800 feet above the water. It's just absolutely amazing. Now, we had to stay a certain distance away, because if something did calve, I think is the word they use, right? Calve off, then it would create such a wave if you were too close, the boat would not have enough time to run away from it. My sister and my niece, my wife and I, and we saw some other things, some seals, or sea lions, I guess. This is actually a fish hatchery. And on the right-hand side of the picture in the water toward the shore, you see that splash? Well, it's kind of interesting. I'll remember that. I'll show you that later. But all these eagles were around this salmon hatchery, and I just love eagles. Just landing and flying. Unfortunately, it wasn't the brightest of days, so these pictures did not come out as I would have liked them to. Either that or I'm just not that skilled. But these eagles were just enjoying. And then this guy came along, and he was hungry. So he bypassed bird because he wants fish. Now, do you see the salmon in the foreground? Yeah. He's just jumping out of the water. Well, this guy probably fishes about as well as I do, and he didn't get anything. The eagle's up there waiting for leftovers just in case. So he walks off, the eagle's watching, and now there's that splash again. I saw what was going on, and I got my camera up and got it ready and zoomed in, and this is what I was able to capture. That's a salmon clearing the water, and an enormous splash afterwards. So we just had a wonderful time with fishing rod and with camera, and just enjoyed our time. Then we went to Mount Denali, and again, took more pictures. A ptarmigan, which is kind of like a partridge, I guess? A grouse? And it's the state bird in Alaska. Brother and sister moose. Anybody know what that is? A marmot. You know what it really is? A groundhog. It's just they're different colored in Alaska. There's about 13 different kinds of coloration of groundhog depending where you are in the United States. And that's another one. Some of the caribou, mama and little calf, Big Daddy. Those little dots are grizzly bear. Now that's with a 400mm lens stretched to its limits, and I just couldn't, and the picture is even cropped, I couldn't get that close, because he's probably about 500 to 600 yards out. but we did get some good pictures of it. And everywhere you looked, you just look in any direction and you go, wow, wow, wow. It's just beautiful. Of course, the Lord gave us a really nice family. And it was just an amazing trip. Now you see those three peaks up to the right? You see the little white dots? Those are Dall sheep. Dall sheep again. And again, I had a 400 millimeter lens. The black line indicates where we saw the Dall sheep and where we took the picture from. It was a mile, 1.2 miles. And again, and back. Now, this was interesting. You weren't with us. My wife and I were going down a trail near where the hotel was. And as we were descending the trail, someone said, "There's a moose at the bottom." So my wife and I took what we thought was a shortcut, and it really was. We actually went down and we saw people coming up, and they're going, and I'm saying, "What?" And the guy goes, "There was a moose 20 feet away from me." Didn't even see him, didn't even hear, or her rather, didn't hear. She's going to bite something off that tree. She begins to hear the commotion and decides, you know, it's probably time to leave. And she did.
And my mom and I were actually on the bus heading back to the hotel, and we see it before they do.
Oh, did you? I
Yeah, we
didn't know
saw
that.
it from the bus.
I didn't know that. But the snowshoe here. This is the train ride back from Mount Denali. And it was kind of funny, when you take one of these train rides and you see wildlife, and I got a little bit verbal, I went, "Moose!" And somebody slammed the brakes on the train. They just do that so you can watch moose. So the engineer just stopped the train, and we were able to watch the mama and the calf as they scurried off into the woods. Again, another shot of Mount Denali. Doesn't happen very often. And that's what we saw the whole train ride. It's just beautiful scenery. And that was our trip. Thank you for listening. Now there's one more thing that we need to present to you, and my brother's going to come.
Hello, I'm on this.